Valete. Today in this video we're going to work through another Fabula together, translating from Latin into English. Last week we did Sedrac, Misac, et Abdenago prima pars, the first part. Today we're going to do Secunda pars, the second part. Alright, so here we go. And we are going to focus on verb endings today. If we can, especially A stem and E stem endings. Alright, so servi Sedrac, Misac, et Abdenago in fornacem iaciunt. So the servants, this is nominative plural, they what? They iaciunt, they threw, so this is from iacit. They threw Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the furnace. So quick note that this is accusative case. Right? Various is em, so we have m, that's accusative, because it's the direct object, it's where they're putting them. So the servants, they threw them in the furnace, so they threw here, iaciunt. How do we know this is they threw? Well, the ending is nt. Remember our endings were o, is, it, imus, itus, unt. So that nt ending, here it actually, the U actually stays, and so this is third person plural, which the pronoun that goes with that is they. So it's they throw, and that's how you know. So this is plural, and the subject is plural. The servants are the subject because they're doing the action, and so these match in number. They're both plural. So the servants, they throw Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the furnace. All right, we'll move on to the next box. All right, here's our second sentence. Said, okay, said means but. I think that should be on your special word list. Yep, it is on page 209. But ignis, the fire, okay, so the fire is the subject. This is nominative singular. So the fire does what? It makats, it kills, right? The fire, it kills. So this is an A stem verb, right? And it's in third person singular. So he, she, or it is doing the action. So the fire is doing the action. So notice again, this is singular and this is singular. So the fire kills, who does it kill? The servos. This is the servants. So this is going to be accusative plural. Because it's a direct object. So the fire kills the servants of Nebuchadnezzar. All right. So they throw them in the fire, but the fire kills them. And now let's find out what happens next. All right. So here's our third sentence. We'll find out what happens. So paulo post. So remember, post plus accusative means after or behind. So So this isn't actually an accusative, paulo, but paulo post just means, remember paulo is from paulus, pala, palum, so it just means a little. So a little after, they throw them in the furnace and the servants get killed. Nebuchadnezzar, he what? He vedettes. We have another E stem here. He sees, what does he see? Quatuor viros, 4 men in fornace, in the furnace. So Nebuchadnezzar sees 4 men in the furnace, but of course they only threw 3 in, right? Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. So let's find out what happens. All right. Et viri non mortui sunt sed in igne ambulant. So et means and the men, they are. So here we have a being linking verb. Remember, sum est, sumus est sunt. So and the men, they are non mortui. So mortui is from mortuus, mortua, mortuum, dead. So they are not dead, but, said means but, in igne ambulant, but they are walking in the fire. So igne is from ignis, So this would be the ablative ending. And so they are walking in the fire. So in plus the ablative means in or on. So, and the men, they are not dead, but they are walking in the fire. All right. So next page, go to page 208, and we'll do that next sentence. All right, so next sentence. Nebuchadnezzar, he says, we got quotation marks, so this is Nebuchadnezzar talking. He says, quid, which means what? This is another special word on your list. Quomodo, quatuor viri in fornace sunt. So he says, what? And then quomodo, which means how, it's another special word. How they are, so sunt means they are, how they are 4 men in the furnace. So this sounds a little funny in English, but he's just saying, or we could say it like this, how 4 men they are in the furnace. So it sounds a little awkward when we translate it to English, but he's just saying, how are there 4 men in the furnace? Well, let's find out. So, Nebuchadnezzar, he does what? He venets, that means he comes. So Nebuchadnezzar, he comes he comes ad fornacem, to the furnace. Remember, ad plus accusative means to or towards. So, I don't remember if I read the whole sentence. Nabuchodonosor ad fornacem venet et dicit. So Nebuchadnezzar, he comes to the furnace and dicit, he says. So he comes to the furnace and he says. We'll find out in the next sentence what he says. All right, this is what he says. Sedrac, Misac, et Abdenago venete hook. So hook is a special word in your list. And so he's saying Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Here we have an imperative. Remember from last week, this te ending? That's a plural imperative. And this is from venet, which means he comes. So if he's saying venete, that means you all come. So there's a plural imperative. You all come hook, which means here. So, or to this place. So Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, you all come here. And we'll find out if they do. So here's our next sentence. Et ii a fornace venient. So et is and they. So remember, this is from nominative pronouns. It's been a while since we've reviewed those. Remember, ego, to, is, ea, id, nos, vos, ii. So this is that nominative pronoun. This is they. So and they come, veniunt. So this is third person plural from venet. So they come a fornace. So we just learned the vocabulary this week, ex means out of. So ex can also be written as a. Remember, we use ex when the next word starts with a vowel, and we use a when it starts with a consonant. And again, this is an e, but we kind of pronounce it a. So et ii a fornace venient. So and they from the furnace come. So they come out of the furnace. All right. And let's see what happens in the next sentence. All right, so here we go with the next sentence. Said eke, but behold. Remember, eke means behold, I think. That's your, on your special word list there. But behold, or look, but look. Neque ignis, neque fumus, eos tangent. So neque is another special word, neither. So neither the fire nor the smoke, ignis or fumus, eos tangent. So neither the fire or the smoke touches them. So this is from eus, ea, eam, and it just means, it's a pronoun meaning them. So neither the fire nor the smoke touches them. Okay, so they came out of the furnace. There's no smoke or fire on them. And so let's see what Nebuchadnezzar does next. All right, so we'll do the last two sentences together. So I have them both up here. Et Nabucodonosor Deum laudat, solum Deus vester sic servat. So this would mean, and Nebuchadnezzar, he what? He laudats, he praises Deum, God. So Nebuchadnezzar praises God, and this is what he says to praise God. Solum Deus vester sic servat. So this means only your God, so vester is a special word that means your, only your God saves, servat means save, so only your God saves thus. Sic means thus or like this. So only your God saves like this. Sic is a special word. I think I might have to put that in the phrase of the week here soon. Sic means thus. A famous phrase that a lot of Americans know that has sic in it is when Abraham Lincoln, the president, was assassinated. A man shot him because he thought he was being a bad president. And when he shot him, he ran away and he shouted, "Sic semper tyrannus," which means thus ever to tyrants. And so what he was saying is he thought Abraham Lincoln was being a tyrant, and he thought this is how tyrants should be treated. They should be shot. And so thus ever to tyrants, sic semper tyrannus, is what he shouted when he ran away. So there's a little piece of American history and Latin for you. And so this is a really good story, which I know you all know, but working through it like this and translating it just helps us to remember the story and helps us to remember what a good story it is, because Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego said, even if God doesn't save us, we trust that He will. We know that He can, even though it doesn't look possible. We know that He can save us. But even if He doesn't, and even if we have to die, we will only worship Him, and we won't worship other idols. So that's a really good story to remember for us, that that we need to obey God, even though it may not make us happy right now. It may not feel like the best thing right now. If we obey, God will always take care of us. Another neat thing about this is that, they saw someone else in the fire with them, right? And so there were 3 people, and then all of a sudden there's a 4th person there in the fire with them. And Nebuchadnezzar said, it looks like a son of man. So it could have been an angel. I think it was probably Jesus, that Jesus in a body came and was with them. It could have been an angel, it could have been Jesus. I don't think we know that for sure. But there's other places in the Old Testament where even before Jesus came to earth as a baby, He appeared as a person to different people. And so that's a neat part of the story, that not only was God with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in a way that they couldn't see. God is always with us, but we can't see Him. But He was with them in a way that they could see, that they could actually see a person there with them. All right, so that's Secunda parse of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. I don't remember if we have, nope, we don't have any more about those 3 guys. But next week we'll talk about Daniel in the lion's den, so that'll be a lot of fun. All right, enjoy the work this week, enjoy the story, and we'll see you in class. Salvete.